Gary's been playing with his counters. Are you still trying to sort out this Manchester United midfield?
He's trying to convince me.
How many hours ago were we talking about? That was maybe 3 hours ago. What have you come up with?
No, I mean, we talked before about the fact that Fred, McTominay and Fernandes, I think at the moment, are the midfield three that I think Ollie feels he can trust the most to get the protection needed for these two, Lindelof and Maguire, to try and stop the goals going in the back of the net, which was causing United a big problem pre-lockdown. But it wouldn't, if you said to me at this moment in time, take McTominay out, take even Fernandes out, which is not going to happen, and take Fred out, and if you were to put in there Matic, Pogba and Van der Beek, that looks like an outside. I wouldn't know the difference between him in terms of which one I would want if you had to choose the first three that I named or that three. And what I said before was, if you just take Van der Beek out, and obviously Fernandes is always going to play because he's an absolutely brilliant player, it's the question markers for me as to why we haven't seen that. Because when Pogba has played with Fernandes, it's more been that. And it worked a little bit after lockdown. They were getting some decent results. But it's obvious that Paul Pogba likes to go forward. It's obvious that Fernandes is better going forward. And I just wonder, Liverpool play that system. I know that Manchester City have played that system. Ollie has seen something maybe in training, or he doesn't fancy playing that way. I don't think it really matters who plays up front if you just get these out of the way, because that front three, to be honest with you, if Rashford, Martial or Greenwood or whether Cavani comes into it, to me that midfield three composition, because I do agree with you, at some point, Pogba will have to come into the team, because I think he's a brilliant player for United. I do think he can be a fantastic player. I do think he can impact games. He's got the courage and the skill and the experience and the winning mentality, I think, previously to playing these games. So I wonder why that midfield can't exist. That's the only thing I would say.
I mean, you've said to me when we've debated this, you've talked about Silva and De Bruyne and we're not being able to sort of ever expect them to do what they did. I mean, what you're talking about there in terms of Pogba to the left and Fernandes to the right, but you've still got to have discipline in those roles that Silva and De Bruyne had that. When Matic gets the ball, let's say that was Fernandinho, he doesn't even have to look up and he knows De Bruyne would have been there, Silva would have been there. Those players had great discipline within that shape. The players you're talking about, they haven't got that discipline. They haven't got it. I think if Matic or Fred's in that position, he looks up, Fernandes could be on the wing, Pogba could be in the centre-forward position. This is not me just saying it on the back of since Fernandes has come in. The first time I analysed Paul Pogba, 4 years ago I think it was in Manchester derby, and he was playing centre midfield. And we'd done it on the show. He was standing on the left wing for goal kicks. It was just... And I said on that show, I can't understand how a world-class talent or someone who's been bought for that much money you think's going to come in doesn't understand where he needs to be off a goal kick. I mean, you've just said Pogba's a great player. I'd actually say he's a great talent. Unbelievable talent. I don't think there's possibly anything he can't do in some ways. But a great talent, for me, doesn't always make a great player. I don't think his understanding of the game is amazing. And that, for me, defines someone a great player. And that's why I'd always say Pogba's a great talent rather than a great player.
Is there anywhere else on the pitch you could get him in then, rather than in the midfield? Could you play him in one of the attacking positions?
No, I think he has played. They played wide left, didn't he?
If you wanted to get him and Fernandes in the same side,
in a 4 for Juventus, he played on the left and did that regularly for a number of years and was successful with it. I find it really difficult to understand how a player who's played at Juventus in a brilliant team, who's won many titles, then goes on to play in a brilliant French team in a World Cup and wins a World Cup, and he's a star in that team, can't be regarded as a great player. I don't think Manchester United have been a great team in this last few years. I don't think Paul Pogba's played brilliantly for Manchester United, but the idea that he can't be a great player because he lacks a little bit of discipline.
Sorry.
De Bruyne and Silva...
after 4 years, we're still debating what his position is.
But to be honest, if you said to me De Bruyne would turn into what he's turned into under Pep Guardiola, I said, no chance. There's no way he can be as good defensively as he is in an attacking sense, which is what he's done. His transition from attack to defence is unbelievable now under Pep Guardiola. It never was before he got there. He was more of a he was a massive luxury player in the sense that he was a brilliant player, De Bruyne, before Pep Guardiola got to Manchester City, but on the ball, not off the ball. He was coached. He was moved into a position that then he made his own. So I don't sort of give up hope that Matic, Pogba, Fernandes can't play together in that three. There's going to come a point whereby the burden of having Paul Pogba on your shoulder is going to sort of shine brightly on Ollie, and he's going to have to get him into the team at some point alongside Fernandes, like he did post-lockdown, whereby they did well together, they had some good results. I think it can happen again. I don't share your pessimism about him.
How, after 4 years at Manchester United, are we still talking about finding his best position, and can Ollie get more out of him? Can he add this discipline to his game? He's been there 4 years. I mean, I don't even... Explain that to me then. If he's as good as you think, or you think Ollie can get him in the team, why are we still having these same conversations now? And it's almost you're hoping or you're believing he can be something that he hasn't shown for 4 years. I don't understand where you think it is on that.
This debate around whether they can play together or when you can get in a team together. I mean, if you just said to me that 10 years ago, I'd have said no, forget about it. But the way in which I see teams develop now with players, to be fair, Manchester City win the league with Aguero, Sterling, Sané, De Bruyne, Silva and Fernandinho as a front six.
They've got discipline. You keep going to these players. These are players who won leagues. They won leagues before Pep Guardiola got there. You can't say they just played off the cuff.
But you can't tell me that Raheem Sterling...
Raheem Sterling's an amazing player.
I know, but he wasn't as good before Pep Guardiola got there as he has been since. Same with De Bruyne.
So you're blaming the managers rather than Pogba?
My point is that they've only had 6 months, and it's been part of that's been a lockdown.
He's been there 4 years.
No, Ollie's had 6 months to try and get Fernandes and Pogba together.
Where would you play Pogba now for Manchester United?
Pogba has had 6 months with Fernandes at Manchester United, 7 or 8 months. 3 months of that has been in lockdown. 2 months of that have been pre-season. He had COVID in about 4 weeks ago. I don't think they've been actually in a position whereby they can even play together that much. So I don't think we should be writing it off today. At Christmas time, if they can't play together, if Manchester United's results don't improve with them both in the team, I would say fair enough. But I think it's too early.
If Man United were playing in a big game, going to Anfield, playing City, would you play them two in midfield?
I wouldn't have a problem playing them both in midfield, no.
Can you fit Donny van de Beek in there as well? Because what's he going to do?
No, but to be fair, my view is that...
Pogba to go.
No, because I think Pogba can play in one of the front three positions up front. Fernandes ended up playing there on Saturday at the last part of the game. I mean...
Well, like you say, it's 4 years we've been having this conversation.
Oh, my God. He wants him on the left wing now.
4 years talking about where you fit Paul Pogba in this Manchester United team.
I know, that's the problem somewhere.
Well, they'd be midfield.
I tell you what, let's save this for another day. When you're back on 6 weeks' time, is it?
November 30th. I've just got my schedule today. I don't know you guess,
we'll mark that. We'll mark that Pogba conversation 6 weeks' time. All right.